This is a production of WKNO Memphis. Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is University of Memphis junior guard Joe Jackson. The Memphis Tigers men's basketball team is on a roll. With Wednesday's win over Houston, the Tigers have put together a whopping 17-game winning streak. They are a perfect 12-0 in Conference USA play and are the only team in the nation this season with an undefeated road mark. Memphis will enter their game with Southern Miss tomorrow afternoon, ranked 21st in the nation by the Associated Press and 19th by the coaches. Now, back in November, the Tigers began the season in the polls, but quickly fell out. They won their first two games, then ventured to the Bahamas, where the competition got tougher. Memphis dropped decisions to VCU and Minnesota and looked like a team that wasn't ready for the limelight. Junior guard Joe Jackson was a mess in the game against VCU. He turned the ball over 7 times, prompting his detractors to come out in droves. The self-described king of Memphis, who was expected to step up in both leadership and performance, stumbled out of the gate. But a game does not make a season, nor does it define a player. The White Station High School graduate, who came to the U of M with more pressure on him than most who have donned the blue and gray, has become the heart and soul of this team. And while we did see glimpses of greatness in his first 2 seasons with the team, like his back-to-back Conference USA Tournament MVP honors, we have yet to see consistency from him. Well, that was until this season. Jackson has been, for the most part, terrific. With the arrival of Jaren Johnson, Jackson has been able to play more off the ball, and that has increased his productivity, especially scoring the basketball. He is the Tigers' leading scorer, ranked 7th in the league. He also leads the team in assists and is their best three-point shooter. In fact, he's tops in Conference USA. In addition, he is one of only 2 Tigers to start all 25 games, once again proving his durability. It may have taken longer than Tiger fans had hoped, but Jackson is finally living up to the hype, which says an awful lot about his character. Today, I go one-on-one with one of the Tigers' most polarizing yet popular players of all time, Joe Jackson, next on Sports Files. Hey, Joe, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Nice win on Wednesday night against Houston. You got Southern Miss tomorrow. You guys are sitting at 23-3 with 17 straight wins. Realistically, how good are you?
I mean, we good as we want to be. As long as we put the hard work into it, I feel like we can compete with any team in the country. We got a staggered roster and we got a lot of depth. It's just all about us.
Some people would say the caliber of competition in the league is not as good. You're stacking up all these wins, but it's not against the greatest competition. How would you counter that? What would you tell people?
Well, I just tell my teammates we need to keep winning. It's really not about what we're going to tell people. It's just you got to get the wins. I mean, the competition is our competition. I mean, winning, that's really the key to it all. You know, you got to win every game, and no matter who you're playing against. And we'll see when the tournament hits, are we really good enough, to go far? But I really feel like we got a good team and we capable of doing, what any team in any conference can do.
It's pretty obvious with the eye test that you're a different team than you were when you stumbled out of the gate in the Bahamas. Tell us why you're a much better team today than you were back in November.
It's many reasons. We became a better rebounding team. We're taking care of the ball better. We got more guys, playing better. We got some of the guys that were struggling at the time, including myself. We playing better. We got Adonis playing better. Jaren is coming around. Chris is playing well. So we got about 4 or 5 guys, that's being consistent every night and giving us something every night.
Last year's team, well, you and Chris and Tariq and Antonio, a number of the guys were on that team. There was a lot of dependency on Will Barton to score the basketball. This year, it seems like any given game, it could be a different leading scorer. Are you a much deeper team this season, less dependent on that one guy?
I think we're more unselfish. Sometimes we pass the ball too much. We have open shots and we give them up. I mean, it's just a great thing to play with a bunch of guys that want to pass the ball and, you know, be unselfish and think team first. And last year, I think we kind of played selfish. We was immature. Mm-hmm. You know, we grew out of that, and we understand that it's going to take, you know, a team to win. And that's all we've been doing this year. We've been playing unselfish, and it's been working for us.
You brought up the word immature, and one of the questions I wanted to ask you was about your maturity. You've come a long way since you stepped on that floor for the first time as a freshman. You're a full-fledged leader of this team. Can you talk about your maturity on the court?
It has gotten a lot better since my freshman and sophomore year, with my work ethic and, you know, with just speaking up more and doing the little things, you know, to help the team. And that's really all I've been asked to do, and I've just been working on it and, you know, just trying to be a positive leader on the floor. And my work ethic, you know, just staying late and, you know, doing extra, you know, so I won't be the guy that coach always pinpoint in film, so I can be one of the guys he's saying good things about. So, you know, I just try to be a leader.
Let me talk more on that subject, because you are leading by example. Career highs in a lot of different categories. You're shooting the ball at a very high percentage. You're shooting the three at a very high percentage. Yes, you stay later, you throw up more shots, you work on the game, but it's more than that. Talk about how you've become this well-rounded player and really have found it here as a junior in college.
A lot of it has to do with just, you know, clearing the negativity out of my brain. My first and second year, I used to just always get frustrated and, you know, think about, you know, all the negative comments and stuff people had to say. You know, now I just focus on, you know, the team and positive stuff, so I get a positive output.
There have been a number of players who have decided to stay in Memphis after they prepped and to play at the University of Memphis. But only a few of them have been more decorated than you and have been more highly sought after than you. So there was obviously a lot of pressure. It didn't seem like you had an issue with that. You said, oh, I'll take on the pressure. But did it kind of shock you what it really was like once you stepped between the lines with that Memphis Tigers jersey on?
Of course. It was something different. I didn't expect it. I didn't think that it was going to come with all that, the hype and, you know,
and the scrutiny too, right?
Yeah, I got a lot of that. But it's good too to have that, because I mean that just shows that you're a good player, and it's all about the player mentality. If you got one of the mentalities where you're gonna work hard and you like me, that's just gonna, you know, lay it all on the line every day and work hard and try to be the best, then you're gonna excel in the situation. But if you're one of them guys that's gonna be negative and let all the scrutiny and stuff play a role into what you got going, then it's gonna be hard for you. So, you know, all I just try to do is just be positive now and, you know, and just take everything positive and work harder.
But you had those tough times in your first 2 years, and you certainly had your ups. Conference USA Tournament MVP, both as a freshman and a sophomore. So you had the ups, but you also had the lows. And there were some times you were very frustrated. Were you ever seriously close to transferring?
Maybe I felt like it, but deep down in my heart, I didn't want to do it because I wanted to play for Memphis. And it started from a long time ago, just being in the gym, watching Cowden practice, and just being around the program. Like, I've been around the program since I was in high school.
Right.
Working out in the Finch with my AAU team and just playing in tournaments in the Finch. Like, there was no way I was going to transfer. And I just had to tell myself, I'm going to stick it out, I'm going to deal with it no matter what the situation. If I don't go pro, I'm going to stay in Memphis.
You didn't want to quit on yourself. It would be looked at as somebody quitting, giving up, and that's not in your DNA.
Yeah, it was the weirdest feeling, because I know it was people out there that thought I was a quitter or I'm going to quit on the team, but never in my life have I ever quitted on anything.
Right. Even
if I can't play it, I'm going to keep working and trying to do it. But, you know, everything ended up for the right reasons, and I'm still here, and I'm having fun.
And you're having a great year, nothing but positive things surrounding you. How much of a factor in your growth this year has been the fact that you don't always have to have the basketball? You're playing a lot of off guard. Jaren Johnson's been a big addition, and Chris Crawford can bring the ball up. How much has that helped you?
It's helped me a lot. Actually, Coach Stoudemire, when he first got on staff, he's always say that. He's like, sometimes you may need to let Chris bring it up. Mm-hmm. He was like, that can help you a lot. And I really didn't understand it last year because I was so frustrated in certain situations until I actually did it a couple times. And I'm like, you know what? Because I was so caught up in trying to show him I could run point guard and all that, you know, because all the scoring I did in high school. So I started doing it. I'm like, the game is easier because I'm attacking from 2 different positions.
Right.
You know, I'm bringing it up, I'm taking them off the dribble, and I'm coming off curls and stuff, you know, to get easy shots. So, I mean, I just listening to my coaches and, you know, letting Chris bring it up, and, I mean, it's been working for us.
The game has slowed down for you, hasn't it?
Of course.
It's taken a while, but it certainly has slowed down. You talked about the coaches and Coach Stoudemire. How about Coach Pastor? What is Josh like behind the scenes? We see him out there in the game, and he gets certainly into it, and he's always dealing with the media. He's terrific with the media. What is he like behind closed doors with you guys?
He's a great coach. He's a great mentor. Coach Pastor, he's always positive. The things y'all see is what y'all get. He's always energized, and you know, a guy like me, small guy, and he expects for me to have the most energy every day. So most of the time when he's talking to me, he's talking about something about energy level or
right.
rebounding or something like that you wouldn't expect. Like, I need you to get 10 rebounds. But, I mean, it's rare for a guard 6 feet to get 10 rebounds every game. You know, but that's Coach Pastor, and he's a great guy, honest the truth. And he's going to be one of the greatest coaches probably ever coached.
But you have done a great job rebounding the basketball for the height that you are, and that says an awful lot about you. Do you believe you will play? You're going to play professional basketball, but do you believe you'll play in the NBA?
Of course. And the reason why I say that because I just look at guys similar to me that's in the pros. Mm-hmm. I can do the same thing, and I probably can bring more to the table. I just got to continue to work, and it's not out of sight, out of mind. I don't feel like it's that. I feel like it's just things got to happen at the right time. The team win, then they're gonna know somebody helped lead them there. So that's really my main focus to help the team win and, you know, help our college team win because I'm in college now, and the NBA and all that stuff, it'll take care of itself.
Do you understand fans who say, listen, I love the winning streak. We can win 20, 25 games every year, but and they're talking about their team, the Tigers, and if we don't do anything in the tournament, it's a bad year. Do you understand that when they say that? Or do you differ? Do you think if you win all these games in the regular season but falter in the postseason, it's still a very good season?
No, I understand because the expectation level of our team and the talent that's on our team, so they expect the University of Memphis, if we go to the tournament, for us to at least go Sweet 16, Elite 8. But, I mean, I guess we got to take it. We got to take it because we chose to come here. We got all these guys that can play. And we gotta find a way to keep winning when we get to the tournament, and it's a good thing because we don't want to end our season early anyway.
Right.
So we want to go farther, and it's not necessarily for the fans. It's for us too. We juniors and seniors, mm-hmm. and it's a couple of our last opportunities, you know, to go far in the tournament. So
you feel confident you will this year?
Yeah, I feel like we got a team to do it. Last year we was kind of selfish. We was too selfish to win. Mm-hmm. We lost to St. Louis. We had more talent than them, but they played unselfish and they played smarter. So this year we played more unselfish and we played smart, and I think things are going to happen for us the right way because we've been so unselfish with each other.
Well, let me say, first of all, congratulations on all that you have accomplished. I know there's a lot still to be accomplished, but it's been tough. I know it certainly has been with the scrutiny that we talked about earlier, and you've handled yourself very well, Joe, so congratulations as far as that's concerned. You're off the hot seat, but you're not done answering questions. We now go to our 5 for the Road segment. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Quick answer, first thing that comes to mind. Pretty simple questions. What is your favorite professional sports team?
Los Angeles Lakers.
Lakers. You've loved them all your life?
Yes.
Why? Kobe?
And Shaq.
And Shaq. Favorite professional athlete? Is it one of those two? It is Kobe Bryant. You got to love his work ethic, right?
Of course. I got his DVD, documentary, all that.
Your favorite musician or group or rapper? What music do you like to listen to?
I guess you got to say Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. He's the best.
So are you one of those guys that have to really dig into the music before a game? You got the headphones on or not?
Actually, I'm one of those guys that don't listen to music because I like to feel the atmosphere around me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're a rarity, right?
Yeah.
Most of the guys are listening to the music. When you have some downtime, and I know you don't have much between basketball and classes, but what's your favorite movie of all time? It doesn't have to be the last movie you've seen or just all time. What movie?
Friday.
Friday, huh? Okay. And what is your favorite television show of all time?
Oof, that's a good one. I think it's got to be Martin.
Martin Lawrence, huh?
Yeah.
What about now? What do you watch today? Because that's not on the air anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't watch a lot of TV. Actually, I just watch ESPN.
I'm with you. Sports Center.
Yep.
You going to make a prediction for the Tigers in the NCAA tournament?
No, I don't want to get into that.
You're a smart guy. You've learned. If I had you here as a freshman, you might have went out and made the prediction. Joe, thank you as always. We appreciate it.
Good.
Continued success. Looking forward to the big game tomorrow against Southern Miss at FedEx Forum. We'll take a break. Overtime is coming up next. The U.S. National Indoor Tennis Championships are taking place this week at the Racquet Club of Memphis. And among the familiar faces is Tommy Haas, a three-time winner in Memphis. Haas has rediscovered his game at the age of 34, which in tennis years is getting up there. Last week, Haas made the finals in San Jose, and he's now ranked in the top 20 in the world. An incredible feat when you consider he's missed nearly 2 full years of tennis because of injuries. Earlier this week, I had a chance to sit down and chat with Haas, who now has dual citizenship in his native Germany and in the United States. Well, Tommy, you're 34, but I think you're going on 22. You're playing terrific tennis. What's that all about now at that age?
Yeah, I think age in general is just really a number. The most important thing for us athletes or athletes in general is to stay in good physical shape. If you can stay out there for a good hour and a half, 2 hours at a high level competing, that's the most important thing. So if the body's holding up, I don't feel like I am what my age shows. Still enjoy the game and still love competing. So that's the main thing.
You've gone through major injuries that have kept you out of a couple of seasons of tennis. A lot of players would say, "That's it. I'm hanging it up. I'm retiring." But you just kept going. Talk about that perseverance.
Yeah, I just don't like staying at home. So I kept pushing and trying to go and continue on. Seeing if I can get back to a certain type of level in tennis. I guess it's always just not knowing what else is left in your career, whatever it is that you're doing. These unanswered questions, and you try to set some goals aside and then see if you can still reach them. And if you're ambitious and eager to go after them, sometimes things are still possible. And I've had my fair injuries that aren't necessarily great for an athlete. And
right.
With my last hip surgery, I had also a certain age where it was going to be a tough grind to come back. But if you have the right type of people around you as well that are positive and still believe in you, it helps.
Well, what are those goals? You talked about goals, setting goals. Did you expect top 20 or number 18 in the world right now? You almost won in San Jose last week. You went to the finals. What are those goals you set?
Yeah, I don't really have those kind of goals anymore with ranking numbers. One of the goals last year really was like to try to get back to top 50 in order to play tournaments, because you need to have a certain ranking because of the deadline in the ranking system to be in the main draw of those events, to play most of them. And the main goal was really to win a title again, which I accomplished last year. So I have to set new goals, and obviously always a nice goal would be to win a tournament. The end of the week to hold up a trophy is the best assurance you can get for playing a great week of tennis. Last week I got to another finals, played a guy named Milos Raonic, who was just way too good that day, and but it still felt great, getting there, and you still compete and go out there to try to see if maybe somewhere else you can make it happen again.
How important is it to be traveling with a trainer?
Yeah, I mean that's huge. If you can afford it, it's something that you need to do. Right. It's It's like if you can afford traveling with a nanny, sometimes it helps as well,
Sure
right?
does.
You know, an extra set of hands or eyes. The same with the physio, especially at the age that I'm at, and you know, I'm pretty competitive, and I like to work hard as well. So, you know, with the body, you never know when you get to a certain age. You know, a few aches and pains can just show up. So it's very important to have a trainer with you and try to keep you aligned.
Tommy, 3 titles here in Memphis. Why has it worked so well? Why has this relationship been such a good relationship?
Well, it's close to Florida where I train, so it's an easy pop up here just to come in here and play. You know, I like indoor court conditions. You know, there's not many excuses. You know, you just play tennis and see who's a better player on the court. You know, it's a nice atmosphere here in Memphis. You know, it's sort of like a club feeling, which I like. And you know, there's certain tournaments where you just, you know, feel the ball well and you feel the court well, and Memphis is one of them.
Does one of the 3 stand out more than the other 2?
Well, this it was my first title that I won here back in 1999, so that's obviously very special against the former world #1 and you know, Jim Courier, who I've looked up to and got the chance to practice with when I was a kid and see how he worked and how hard he worked to achieve all these great things that he did. So that was obviously very special for me. I remember, I think also in 2000, maybe was it 7 that I won here? I don't even know, or 6.
6 and 7, I believe.
Yeah, in 7, I think I played some of my best tennis here. I think I didn't face a break point the whole tournament on my serve and really just cruised and played incredible tennis. So that stands out as well. But you know, anytime, like I said before, anytime you hold up a trophy, it's a special feeling, and to have done it here 3 times, obviously special. How
has your game evolved on the court? Obviously, you're getting older, but maybe getting better in the minds of many people. How has it changed from when you started as that young guy knocking it around the court?
Oh, I don't know. It's changed in many ways. You know, you have to keep improving your game every year in order to stay up at the top, or in order to be successful. You know, there's always young kids coming up or young players coming up that are eager, that are coming with more firepower, with different types of games. And you know, if you don't keep it up, you know, then you're not going to have that much success. And obviously, you know, there's a few guys in the top 4 or 5 in the world who put the tennis at such a high level. You know, winning everything in the past 7-8 years, really. You know, so they keep trying to make us better behind and try to catch up to them and see if we can maybe, you know, tease them or beat them somewhere down the road. But that sure is a hard task. But like I said, again, you know, it's as an individual sport, as an individual player, you have your own side sort of sets that you know, your goals that you set yourself, and the places you want to get to, and all you can do is just work as hard as you can, right?
It's hard to compare eras, and sometimes it's unfair. And you only know the guys that you've played with and are watching now, but do you believe that we've had a better era than we do right now in tennis with Federer and with Djokovic and with Nadal and with everybody else who's played so well?
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's very tough to compare different eras. You know, I mean, I'm a big fan of tennis in general, and you know, looking at all the different types of eras, you know, I have so much respect for most of the players that have done so well or that I've looked up to winning Grand Slams. And you know, everybody as an individual has done you know, great things, and even the players that don't win Grand Slams necessarily, you know, you have to tip your hat to so many players as well who are grinding out there and playing some terrific tennis. But yeah, I think in some ways, you know, I've been lucky enough to been around the 90s and in the, you know, 2000 to 2010 now, and past that, which is great. And you know, I've seen some of the players like Federer, who, you know, I obviously admire in many ways, who put the tennis pedestal at another level in my eyes. And then, you know, then you had somebody coming like Rafael Nadal, who's had some years that you just can't believe. And then now Djokovic is doing it the past 2 years, and now you have Andy Murray in the mix, you know, who's doing some great things. So yeah, I think you have some really exciting tennis, and you know, you can't forget about the guys that are right behind there in the top 10 who play, you know, really exciting, powerful tennis. And it looks like it's going that way, that more guys are like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", you know, hitting harder and bigger, and you know, who knows? I mean, I'd be glad to be saying probably in the next couple of years that it's time for me to, you know, go away from the sport, because you know, it's getting tougher and tougher to run down these kinds of balls. It's almost impossible. Even like a guy like Milos Raonic last week, you know, it's tough.
Raonic, Querrey, Isner, these guys are huge. It's like a basketball team that we're seeing here on the tennis courts. But let me congratulate you, first of all. Dual citizenship. People know you from Germany. You're now also an American citizen.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. And you have a little one, too.
Right.
How has that changed? Because, Tommy, when you came here in the late 90s, it was Tommy Haas. It was the Bachelor out there. Now you're a family guy.
Yeah, it's nice. It's fun. You know, there's different stages for all of us in life, and this is definitely the nicest one, to be honest. You know, being a father, you know, and having a family, and you know, looking forward to coming home to them. It's always you know, the best times for me. You know, different responsibilities. You know, you see somebody grow up that you know, you care for the most on this planet, and it's enjoyable. You know, everybody that is a father or mother knows what I'm talking about, and yeah, it's a perfect time in my life to do that too, because there's definitely other things in life than just tennis, and playing or making a hobby a sport, and or you know, a hobby a job for me where I make a living. So no, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Memphis is always happy to have you here. Best of luck this week. Thanks for spending some time with us.
You're welcome. Thanks.
And that will do it for this week's show. Enjoy your sports weekend, and remember, to see any of our previous Sports File shows, simply head to our website at WKNO.org and click on KNO Tonight. And we'll see you next time.